Going on, guys? Chris, SVT Garage, and today we're going to be using the Rain-X windshield repair kit, but we're going to be using on a side window. Believe it's going to do the same job as if it was the windshield or not, because it's just glass, different types of glass, but still it's going to fill the crack in, so this should work just fine. We have a 2024 Telluride, and it got hit, rock chip or rock something going down the highway, hit the side window here and just chipped it pretty good. So we're going to try this out, but I'm going to walk you guys through the process of doing this, and from what I've seen, this stuff works pretty good, so we're going to try it ourselves out here today. We got this from, I think it was Advance Auto for about 16 bucks, so not terribly expensive, seems relatively easy to use and super easy to set up, and it comes with everything you need in here, right down to the razor blade. So first thing you got to do is get everything out and locate the razor blade, which is, razor blade should be wrapped up in here. Yep, right here. And then you have a couple of these, so you can reuse this kit. This isn't a one-time use. It comes with like 8 or 9 of these little pads here that we'll get to later in the video, so stand by for that. What you want to do first is get the razor blade out. And just try to scrape away any like loose glass that might be in there that might impede it from sticking. So you're just going to kind of clean that glass up and then wipe that away. That's it, just real quick and easy on that. Next you're going to take this like the device that holds the plunger, and the center of this hole needs to be over the center of the actual crack itself. So you want to set that up and then firmly press down on these to lock it in there pretty good. And again, that's pretty much right on there. So also in the kit you have these 2 plungers. You got a large one and a small one. Large one goes in first. And as you screw that down, you're going to want to make sure it's firmly over the crack itself. And it's nice and tight. So I feel like that's in there pretty good. And then with the Rain-X, the solution here, you're going to have 3 drops for smaller cracks, 6 drops for larger cracks. And you don't want to overdo it, but for the most part, you got to get it down in there. 1, 2, and 3. And this would work a little better if it was actually on the windshield, just because of the angle. But we're going to use this here. And what this second plunger is doing is taking that solution and forcing it in the glass. There we go, now we're getting it. So I had to loosen it and tighten it back up because the solution got caught in between the 2 plungers. So what I did there is when I loosened it up, it actually came through and is now directly on that crack. So we let that sit. I'm going to pull the plunger to let any air escape that might be in there, trapped in between the 2 plungers in the glass, and then just reapply it. So we do have some leaking down. We're just going to come back over with a towel here and just clean up any of that excess solution that might be escaping from in between. I'm going to let that sit for 5 minutes. I am going to double check something really quick. So what that's doing is working into that crack, and that solution is going to take basically the space up where there would be moisture getting caught in between the crack. And then what happens with the temperature changes, this crack, like within a day or within 24 to 48 hours, had almost tripled in size. So that's kind of why I'm addressing it today. It's about 10 after, so we're gonna let this sit for 5 minutes and come back. But again, getting back to what we were doing was, again, creating that, getting that in that void space and putting the solution in there. So again, if moisture does get in and out, and then with the temperature change, whether it's cold or hot, it's causing that to expand and then contract, and that's where this crack keeps increasing from, is that. So what we're gonna do here is gonna pause it, and then we'll come back 5 minutes later and then do the next step. All right, so I'm gonna make a quick correction. So what we did is filled this with the 3 drops. This is gonna sit for 5 minutes. Then I'm gonna remove this, the plunger, let the air escape, put the plunger back in, and let it sit for 5 more minutes. So that's where we're at right now. It's been 5 minutes. I pulled the plunger, just back this out. You're gonna create the space in between the glass and the plunger, and just reapply it and let it sit for 5 more minutes. And again, you can come back here and just push on the glass to kind of get that solution to really work in the crack. You can see the crack goes from about here down to here, and it was just a small chip right here the other day. So I'm trying to address this so this stops getting any bigger. But we're on the second part of the 5 minutes, so this is a 10-minute ordeal right here, and we'll come back to the video after that, after it's been sitting for 5 minutes, and then we'll finish up the last step. All right, so we're back 10 minutes later. So just, again, I want to correct myself. You apply it with the first one, put the plunger in, let that sit for 5 minutes, take the plunger, the second plunger, back that out, just let the air escape, put that plunger back in, let it sit for 5 more minutes, and that's where we're at right now. So what we're going to do now is take this thing completely off the window. Comes off pretty easy. I'm just going to wipe it down again because you can reuse this for, obviously, for future uses. These little suction cups, I got these tabs on there. Just pull the tabs up. You know, they're pretty generic, so they come off pretty easy. This isn't anything high-tech or not. You'll see you have some residual solution in there. Again, I'm using a microfiber. Just take that and wipe it down and clean up that glass. And I should have done a before video of the actual crack, but where this was applied, you can actually see it did fill that in pretty good already. The last step that you're going to do is take one of the plastic film here, or just, again, this is a plastic film. You're going to take 1 drop and put it directly on the center of that crack. Then you're going to put this over it, and you'll see it spread, and that's going to kind of just flare out to the rest of the crack. It says let it sit for 15 minutes in the sun. I'm going to let it sit for 30. Because I just believe that little bit extra is just going to help it, not hurt it. There we go. So we got 1 drop on there. Then I'm going to set this guy. You know what? I'm going to take that back. I'm going to put a little more because this crack kind of trailed up. It spidered out pretty good, and I don't want this to cause any more damage. So we're going to do, and I'll show you guys what I did here. Let me grab that camera. So what I did was I put it right in the center, but it didn't come out far enough. This crack actually spread this far. So I want to make sure that the center of it, which was the main area, is is what we treated. But I wanted to make sure that all this went through that entire crack. So when we let this sit for 30, it gets all the way into that. We're gonna take this quick break, but put it in the sun, come back, and I'll show you guys the last step of this. So stand by. All right, so it's 30 minutes later and we're back. And what I ended up doing is I cut a little piece because I did miss a small little, the end of the crack, like it was like literally at the bottom of this. So I just added another piece here, let that sit for the 30 minutes, the whole thing. And we're gonna get into this, peeling this off. So you can see the product is kind of like filming up a little bit here, or hardening up. So what they say to do is just take the supplied razor blade at a 90-degree angle and just scrape it off. So you're gonna get all that off, and you'll see here it's just kind of hazing up. It's the heavy stuff comes off, and then you'll see where it actually filled in the glass is kind of cool. So this haze here is it in the glass. See if I can get that to focus. And then you just come here and scrape that off. So what I'm gonna do is just pause it. I'm gonna work at this for a couple minutes. Again, it's coming right off. And then we'll go ahead and show you guys the finished product on this Rain-X repair kit. All right, the window glass is done. It looks 90% better, to be honest with you. I believe this is gonna work. Now, if it does get any worse, then obviously we'll have to change the glass out. But what really stinks about this whole process is that crack happened on the way home from Safe Flight from replacing the windshield. The windshield had a crack that just went right across the window. Driving it home, something came up in the road. I want to say it was a rock or something big, hit this side window, and then again caused that damage. But doing some reviews, looking up some products, this Rain-X one seems to work really well, especially for over the counter, instead of calling your insurance company or having your premium go up or whatever. Again, I think that's going to work. It's going to work well. So let me know what you guys think. Comment below. Have you guys used it? Do you need it? If you do, go ahead and try it after this video. Again, comment below. Let me know. If you guys can, like and subscribe. We'll keep pushing out some videos, especially the how-to stuff. I know this really isn't like, SVT related stuff, but I do like to throw in some how-to videos and kind of educate people on things that you guys can just simply do yourself instead of sourcing it out and paying a bunch of money. This was 16 bucks to fix. So again, I just appreciate everybody's support. Again, it's Chris, SVT Garage. Thank you.